Welcome to a introduction to tagging, or daily diary more specifically. To get stuck right in, I like to think there are four main components to a tag: an attachment method, a housing, a battery, and a circuit board, or the daily diary itself. Firstly, we have some examples of attachment methods. Here we have a fin clamp to attach onto a shark fin maybe, and a collar to go around the neck of a goat or sheep. The attachment methods are exactly that, a way to get your device onto the animal. Next, we have housings. Housings protect the batteries and the units from the elements and the animal itself. Here we have a 3D printed housing for a collar, specifically for this battery type. We have another one here, already attached to the collar. And a very simple vacuum form transparent housing here. Next, we have the batteries. Batteries come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, depending on how long you're going to deploy for, or the size of the animal. For example, we have two A cells connected here. We have a rechargeable 1000 milliamp battery here, and a smaller non-rechargeable Eve cell for smaller animals or short-term deployments. The final part is probably the most important part, and that's the circuit board or the daily diary itself. We have three sizes here, and going up in size, we have the thumbnail unit, because it's the size of your thumbnail. The elongated unit, and the largest, the square unit. They record magnetometry and accelerometry from this component here, pressure from here with the hole exposed to the elements, and they can also record temperature, and some of the units can record light. Worth noting, there are lights on each of the units. For this large unit, we have a light here, here, and here. But you'll see them in full colour when we put a battery in later. So, first couple of rules when handling these circuit boards: try take them by the edges like a photograph. If you get oil or dirt onto the green circuit board, it can cause crystallization and damage the tag, and you don't want that. And now on the back we have the SD cards. The elongated unit and the square unit have almost like a spring lock release mechanism in the tray. But the thumbnail unit, to save space, doesn't have that spring lock system, so you kind of have to just slide it out. Now, if we want to start logging data, we want to switch the tag on. Some of these units have switches, but we won't be using them. The best way to start logging data and switch the device on is by just plugging the battery straight in. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So, for the square unit, we have a number of plugs. But if you imagine the big plug is on the front, this is the right, this is the left, and this is the back. The only thing we're concerned with is the top left plug. The other plugs are for other devices to communicate with one another, but they're not regularly used. So, to plug in, we're going to make sure these two metal shiny dots are facing into the tag, and this square black clip is facing outwards because it's going to line up with that square hole. And once I plug the device in, we should see a little light show, green and yellow alternating light as the device starts to read the card that I programmed earlier. So if we just plug it in. It was really quick, and now we have a consistent green light, implying data's being collected right now. These won't show collecting data, but just to show how to plug them in and watch them light up. Now, when you are plugged into the device, to take the battery out, you don't want, it's a bit of an art. You don't want to tug on these cables here because you could break the cables and break the battery. What we want is to fit our nail in between the plug and the socket and start to wedge, wiggle, and just pull it out. Don't force it too much, and that will stop the data from being collected as also. You can use other things, for example, non-metallic objects, wooden pick, or plastic tweezers. But now I'm happy that we're collecting data, we can start to put the tag together. So, putting the tag together, we want to keep a consistent orientation. Got some blue tack here. You can use a little bit of blue tack to hold that orientation in place. What you want to do is try and not have it on the green circuit board because blue tack takes in moisture and that could cause damage in the long term. So just a little bit on the SD card tray, plop it down. Trying to keep consistent this idea that this is front facing, this is back, left and right. I've even drawn an arrow on my housing. I've used some foam to keep it nice and compact but also safe because I don't want any movement also within the housing. Otherwise that gives us poor quality data, and I'm pretty happy with that. Next, you attach it to, I mean I wouldn't use blue tack, it won't last very long, but let's attach this to the shark clamp to give you an idea. And you want to record that orientation as well, so you know what your tag is, where your tag is, what it's doing when it's on the animal. Now, you're all ready for calibration, but I'll explain that in another video. Okay, so to finish off, I'll give you a few tips you can do to get the best quality data and ease the process on the field. So the first tip, if I show you here, if we go back to the tag I just used, is to use these little dot labels so you get a good understanding of what SD card works with what tag, and you could either take it to another level and also label up your battery so you can understand and identify what was the problem. If you get any problems on the field, could it have been the battery, could it have been the SD card, could it have been the circuit board, etc. So keeping labels really nice and consistent, taking lots of pictures where you saw where I put the tag into the transparent housing, take a picture of that, take a picture of it when it's on the attachment method, take a picture of it when it's on the animal. Lots of pictures will just help the process when you come to analyze your data, and also record lots of times. So make sure you record when the daily diary comes on, anything that might interrupt it, and any errors that you experienced. And then just a final one is these are electronic circuit boards. They can tend not to be very durable, so just be really delicate and take your time. And it's worth noting they aren't waterproof yet, and you can end up with a lot of corrosion like this unit here. And this unit doesn't log successfully anymore. Okay, happy to finish on that. Thanks for watching.